In 2007, the Board of Trustees worked on establishing a strategic plan that would span 10 years. The plan was inclusive of these 5 elements. The mission defines how the fraternity functions today. The vision serves as what we hope to become based on our actions. To achieve the vision, we have changed our culture from focusing on chapters to focusing on individual members. Specifically, the fraternity develops our members in these 5 areas. The first is live and face-to-face through Leadership Institute, regional conferences, and chapter-based workshops. The second is through self-guided education such as our online development center and our e-learning modules. The third is through webinars and virtual roundtables. To measure our progress towards becoming a human development organization, the fraternity has defined specific metrics in each of the areas of development.
We spent a weekend reviewing the metrics to our strategic plan because it's important for us as an organization to really evaluate where we are and how we're doing, and not just have this plan on paper that we never assess ourselves to. The fraternity invited Zach, a collegiate brother, to really get his perspective on both the metrics and the tools that we use to measure. We learned a lot from Zach, things that we didn't really expect.
Before accreditation, we didn't really plan at all. We sat around and thought this might be cool to do, but we never had any planning or idea of where we needed to be. We didn't know where the bar was, so we had no way to reach it or surpass it.
His chapter ended up using the accreditation tool as a planning tool to organize some of their events and schedule some of their activities, which we took that perspective and really kind of expanded on that instead of turning it from a homework assignment into something that's really a resource for chapters.
It's how we planned our entire year. Everything we did revolved around accreditation and the requirements, and at the end of it we were able to be recognized for following those requirements. One of the things we did directly was we implemented several developmental programs that we had never done before. We didn't know that that's what the key to success was following those bullet points, and we were able to implement developmental programs and things to make our chapter grow as members and as a chapter as a whole. We realized it was a resource and a great way to plan and become stronger as a chapter and as individuals.
We as a fraternity are not really interested in making our chapters do a bunch of activities. We're much more concerned, are those activities developing men to be leaders?
By completing accreditation, we were able to continually know where we were. By filling out the requirements and having interactive feedback, we knew where we were and where we needed to continue to go.
We invited assessment experts to the weekend to bring their perspective. We as Phi Kappa Theta understand that we're not the experts in determining and measuring metrics. I think these experts brought the perspective to the weekend that what other organizations are doing in terms of assessment and measuring outcomes.
Well, I first learned of the whole accreditation process probably a year and a half ago, as we were brought in to work with the University Learning Outcomes Assessment and how to build that into your program to measure growth, learning, and development. But I didn't know the depth of the program until the session today, and as I saw each of the areas we discussed unfold, I became more and more impressed with what you're doing. I'm a member of another college fraternity, and I wish they would have the vision that this organization has in terms of looking ahead, in terms of providing services and accelerating the development of their students.
Some of the things we got out of the weekend was the focus on having the chapters, having the individuals really own their own plan, set their own goals, and then measure themselves to those goals, and then reflect on those activities to see how it worked, and see what can be done in the future. We really wanted the members to have buy-in It's their plan. It's development that they want to do. We try to incorporate aspects of that, goal setting, and even using it as a tool to plan for their development.
We're going to use accreditation as a tool, but and start immediately. We're going to use it to plan. We're going to decide where we want to go, how we want to do it, and continually throughout the year implement it into our daily lives.
We want to know how our members were before an activity and how they developed because of an activity. And we're looking to measure the development that occurred in our members.
College guys do need a little bit of structure, but it's not being done through accreditation as you have to do this way. It's a guideline to help us get to where we want to be as an organization.
We're probably working with 20 or so national fraternities and sororities in a number of colleges and universities across the country. And to be honest, the work that was done today and the vision of the whole Achieve program in terms of accreditation and monitoring what individual members are doing in terms of checking their growth, learning, and development, I don't know of another organization that's even close to what you're doing right now. I think the organization is visionary, is intentional, and just from an outside perspective, I'm excited to see what you're doing, because this is what higher education should be doing to benefit students. And I hope your individual members across the country understand the importance of the work and make the best of it to accelerate their own development as college students.
Visit the Our Missions section on phicapps.org for the 2011 to 2012 updates.